Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yeah, We Read It. My name is Laura, and I am one of your hosts.
My name is Meggie, and I am your other host.
And we are just two bestie boos reading for Hughes. We've been
Beautiful.
reading. Thank you. I really thought of that just as I was talking, and I don't know how I feel about it, but we're here. We have been reading the Lightlark series. We are all caught up with the 4 books that are currently published. We have not read any of the companion novels, and this is our wrap up episode where we kind of do our final thoughts on everything we've ingested over the past few weeks together.
That is true, and it has been a lot. Also, very curious if anyone has read the Grimm Oro companion novel, if you guys want to email us a bit about it, because I would be
Yeah.
intrigued but have no capacity for reading it at Meggie and Laura present at gmail.com. I would be
Yeah.
interested your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like I think I have a very ever-changing opinion on the Lightlark series. Like I really enjoyed it, and then there's things that I just didn't like at all, but I'm still like, if she writes another one, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, it is pretty tricky because I kind of thought that the fourth was going to be the wrap up, and then we obviously end on the cliffhanger that Grimm is stuck in Skyshade.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's going to go, and I really want
that's
to know, but I don't know if I can commit to reading another one of these. Like, I don't think I can wait a year.
yeah, like that's also the thing. Like it kind of feels like everybody who watched Severance had to wait like 2 years before the second season came out. And
Yes.
I happened to just watch it like in December of last year before the January release of the next season. So I was like, I don't know how anybody did that. Couldn't be me. That sounds exhausting. But this is
Yeah.
also my concern, that I'm like, I really think we were set up to wrap this whole thing up, and I was really excited, and then I was like, what do you mean there's more?
I agree. I think that it is pretty hard. And maybe I am underestimating how big the Lightlark community fan base is. But for me personally, the only follow up series book wise that I can keep alive in my head and anticipate a new book coming out is obviously A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I probably bring up about 14 times on this podcast.
Yeah, you've brought it up a new number of times, so that is factually true.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's weird because it's like, yeah, we obviously found this through just our own endeavors and research for what we should do for this podcast, and now it's like, great, we're in the thick of the series isn't over, so what happens? What happens? What's next? Um,
Yes. Yeah, because this was what popular in 2021, I want to
I
say.
think that's when the first one came out. Yeah, which, like, good for Alex Astor cooking out these books, for like 4 books plus 2 companion novels in 4 or 5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't even get any task accomplished in a week, let
Yeah, and I
alone a
can't get
year.
much accomplished in 4 to 5 years either. So
No, I really haven't. In 4 to 5 years, what have I accomplished? I'm brunette now. I
yeah,
think that that's the big
I
highlight.
Meg, growing out your roots was a whole accomplishment.
It really is. It was kind of crazy,
Yeah,
and
that's a big deal.
I didn't really have to do anything, when you think about it.
Yeah, you really just had to wait the test of time to see what was going to happen and how long it was going to take. So
Yeah, that's all I've done in 4 to 5 years.
that's so funny. Um,
Um,
where do we start with
I
Lightlark?
really don't
Like,
know.
so much happens in the series, and I think about like the other series that we've read, Hunger Games obviously always revolves around some form of Hunger Games and politics. I guess
Yes.
this kind of gives me Maze Runner vibes, where the plot
Mm.
and drive for each book does really change vastly from book to book. um but it's all a continuation of each other. Like, we're kind of going from one thing to the next. But like, yeah, I'm trying to
That
think
is
of anything
true.
else that like might have been similar story wise
I
to
do feel
this. And
like there's clearly a consistent through line throughout all 4 of the books, but they all have different vibes. That is not at all an intellectual take, but I do feel like each one is very distinct in its world building, which was super intriguing. We start off with Lightlark, and you get introduced to the world in a way that is very comprehensive. I would say I didn't love the dropping off of the smaller kingdoms like Moonling, Skyling, and Starling. I
dude,
would have been interested to see how they were interwoven into the future that was being written.
100%. I completely agree with that, Meg, because it's like, and I was even really, really feeling this in Crown Tide, where it was like, I really feel like we kind of just, kept reiterating that Wildling, Sunling, and Nightshade are, the most important because they made the island of Lightlark. And, we got in the first book much more visibility into kind of how all 6 realms work with each other.
Mhm.
But like the fact that like Azul just kind of like blips out and is like, "You guys got it," was a weird and interesting choice for me. It kind of just felt like, oh, I guess there's these other realms and I don't really know what to do with them, so they'll just be kind of around but not doing much.
I agree, because though it is a fantasy book, there is a lot of groundedness to fleshing out how there's like warring factions between. I want to see what the
Yeah,
dynamics are between these different governments, and even get into some commentary on like foreign policy,
yeah,
because I am like, you've built such a beautiful world that I want to live in it and not necessarily abandon it all
yeah.
the time, which I
Like,
felt like was kind of happening from the third book on.
yeah, no, it definitely kind of felt like, despite the fact that they're all facing these problems that would change and these plot lines that would change the course for every single person and every single realm, it really felt like Skylings and Moonlings especially were just kind of like, I don't really care. And it's like, that's weird to me that you're kind of outside of caring about the fact that this entire like world could come crashing down.
Yes, because I think that the bedrock or the cornerstone of a really good, solid fantasy series is that you get to take yourself out of the reality that we currently live on, but there is still so much commentary and so much just world building that is reflective of our own reality. And like, to me, fantasy, though it is a part of romance, I think there has to be a wonderful balance between romance and also what is going on in that world. Like, I
Yeah.
want to know. And I think that Alex Astor just sometimes abandoned Lightlark a lot for me. And I mean, obviously, one of our criticisms where there were so many plot points introduced that were thrown away, and they're really big plot points.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I think we also ran into, and I think I talked about this in both books where it happened. It was like suddenly there was multiple portals, and then suddenly there was multiple pools that all had their own purpose. So it was interesting to be like, this world is so rich and it's so exciting to read about, and it's very, very engaging and captivating.
Mhm.
But then parts of it did, and I hate to say this, parts of it felt a little lazy or kind of like a cop out.
Yeah.
But I'm sure somebody will be mad that I said
I
that.
mean, I kind of stick to it that I think at times this writing was just too much yes anding yourself and not enough. There has to be a payoff at the end of it that is not consistently just hitting the same beat of being in
Yeah.
a love triangle. I want something to be built that in the end has a conclusion that is fun and makes sense. Like, Lord of the Rings is a wonderful fantasy because they build out this massive world and they are on this journey, and you get to like sit with all of these different places that they're in, like, meeting the hobbits and meeting the dwarves and like hanging out with like the trees and shit like that. That And same with like Chronicles of Narnia, that I think that you have this massive world that there has to be problems within that world that you can sit with and you don't have to abandon. I think that if we clearly, like the Moonlings, there was some sort of resistance happening with them, or the like red mask people, there was some sort of resistance happening with them. It makes
Yeah.
sense that once she gets all this power and there is like an instability and shift in who might be taking over, there would be a revolution around maybe people being a little bit pissed off that she has all this power now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's like, I feel like something that Lightlark struggles with is, the first book is really rooted in this, in the centennial, which is this obviously very grand ceremony that's been going on for centuries. And I almost wonder if like Lightlark series as a whole could have paid off if the first 2 books were all centennial. Because I felt like, great, the centennial
Mm,
ends the first book, and now it's just like life and death situations.
yeah.
Or like that's kind of like what, like, I think that was a hard thing for me with Crown Tide, where it's just like, oh, okay, we're in another world, and it's also just like the world's gonna end again, which is like, well, okay, yeah, it's a continuation of Sky Shade, but now that we're in Sky Shade, now I think that's also why I felt so dissatisfied with the ending of Crown Tide, because I'm just like, I think we need to get to the point of what's life and death now, because clearly, like,
Yeah.
it's so much has happened.
Well, I think that's a really hard thing too as an author, is that everything is important to you, but you have to make it important to us.
Yes.
And it never necessarily felt like that, or it was just like too much that I didn't care about. And there were no deaths. There needed to be some deaths. Kill off Oro's friends. There's an
Oh my
easy
God,
one.
kill off Enya for the love of God. Like the payoff that she knows how she's gonna die. I'm sorry to say, she needs to die then. Like,
Yes, absolutely. Because now I'm always wondering, how is she going to die? And she keeps getting close, and I'm like,
yeah, and then she's like, not today, which is like, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm like, great, then kill Zed, kill
I
somebody
think it should
else.
have been Oro accidentally killing her. I think that would
Oh,
have been awesome. And
that
then
would have been such a
it
good
haunts
payoff, because
him.
it's like, obviously he cares so much about Enya, and to have it be like, great, Oro kills her.
And I think that's another thing, is that though these characters face all of these moments where they could have a turning tide in how their growth and narrative arc is, they never actually change. Oro loses Isla, and then that should make a character grow. That should make someone more interesting in how they struggle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was like more empty platitudes. He is just upset, and it's just not someone that you can latch on to, because
Yeah.
you're not going to care about your ex's. I'm sorry, you're not going to care about your ex's well being in a sense that you lost your soulmate. They picked someone else. Do
Yeah.
something that you're like, fuck them.
That is, I think it's such a fair critique to really discuss the flatness of Oro's character. Like,
Why include him?
especially in book 3, where it kind of like we're still going back to Oro's point of view after, like, she's clearly chosen Grimm, and we're just like, I don't really care about Oro anymore. And I don't think I've been really caring about him for a while, because like his entire thing is that
Make him
he
a villain. That would make
exactly,
him
his entire thing is
interesting.
that he's just obsessed with Isla, but like we keep hearing that it impacts his kingdom, but we're not seeing the results of that, which is like, make him truly so obsessed with Isla that he's actually destroying Lightlark. Don't half-ass it, please.
Exactly. And then it gives Grimm the opportunity to show people that he exists in a good light, because maybe he comes to and saves them. And it's not like Oro has to be bad forever. He just
Yeah.
has to go through some shit.
Just he
I
has to,
think,
like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, Isla, even, I think, like, is hard. You know, she's rounded, but I think she needs a little bit more at times, because it feels like her
oh,
entire
absolutely.
roundedness is impacted just by the plot. So, like, she kind of was just suddenly like, and now somebody told me I'm strong, so I'm strong now. It's like, well, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure. But so all of the problems kind of revolve around the fact that the characters do no internal depth seeking within of what drives them. It is all them being influenced by the other characters, and not in a way that actually makes them have a reaction. It's just doubling down on who they are already, which is
Yeah.
very two-dimensional.
Exactly. No, I would agree with that. But also, I would say that given the fact that this series is so rich, I also worry with, as it currently stands, if we tried to add even more to like talk about how these characters are changing over time,
Oh
it would
no, I'm
be way
reconfiguring the
too much.
entire book series. I'm saying Lightlark, pretty good. We could maybe split it up into 2 books, and that would
Yeah.
be awesome. I loved the reveal of her as Grimm's wife. That's fucking cool.
Amazing.
Grimm takes her, Oro goes crazy. Oro teams up with Cleo, and then they wreak havoc on shit that Grimm and Isla kind of have to reset. And then maybe
Yes.
there's some like brewing pissed offness. They
That,
get Oro on their side, and then like it's
yeah.
kind of Cleo is the problem. It's like Cleo is always the problem.
That would have been so good, Maggie, because it's like, I think
I know.
that's the thing, because it's like, then that's such a good point, because it feels like we immediately go from like, oh, the centennial's over, now it's Nightshade versus Lightlark. But what I think that, and then it goes immediately to like Cronin, another dimension. I think it would have made way more sense if after the centennial that the realms are starting to fight each other. Like, they don't have to be unified anymore. Like, that sort of internal war, instead of creating this whole other place. I think that would have been great for a final book, but I'm like, I think we needed more buildup of what we were introduced to.
Yes, and it never came to fruition. And then,
No.
I mean, fuck the Starling Isle. They are, what is going on there? They
Remember
like
when Isla was just like, yeah, I'm going to make them a democracy now. And that was the last thing we ever heard.
was the last thing. It's like all these people who have only lived till 25, their brains haven't even fully developed, and let them just
No.
figure it out for themselves. Let's not teach them how to
Yeah.
govern a population whatsoever.
Yeah. No, again, there's some really interesting choices with things that we just kind of like, and to the side, like you brought up earlier, the people in like the red costumes that were going to try and murder Oro to get rid of the Nexus curse. And it's like, why weren't they trying to kill Oro like during the entirety of Lightlark? Why isn't Oro being hunted?
Yeah. And there was this fascinating element of it too, where people like either had powers and they renounced or put a distance between them. And especially, oh my fucking God, there should have been a book about her figuring out how to put wildlings back together, because so many of them had turned on each other. People had like eaten each other. They were upset with each other. And then there's like the snake woman in that faction that completely left. I am fascinated by these people that were completely abandoned. Why not
Yeah, and like
figure that
that's the
out?
thing. It's like there's so many great moments in these books, and then it's like, and then it's just kind of like, great, we're moving on from that. And I'm like, well, no, can we come back? Can we come back to it at some point, please? Like, I
I
don't
think
want to like just completely drop. Like, I don't
what's
want to
so
drop the
hard
fact that
is
Cleo has the prophecies from the other two like moon people, oracles,
I
but
feel
here
like
we are.
it's really tricky with like books like this, and I think we've had wrap ups that can be positive, but I think that I was so enamored with the first book and like where this was building and where this was going, and I thought it was so fucking cool that I just didn't get the things out of it that I wanted. And I really wanted to live in the world and I just couldn't. And it's like by the fourth book, it
Yeah.
was becoming a chore.
Yeah, no, I think the turn in Crown Tide, it got hard because it's like we've been teasing for books now that Isla's obviously gonna kill Oro or Graham, but now it's like the the stakes are now out of this world, literally,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to grasp on, I think, to the even extended reality of it when it's just like we've gone so far past the who she's gonna kill to there's so much more going on now.
Yeah.
And like that's I said it before and I said it again, I really really wish the fourth book would have just wrapped everything up nicely. Give me 50 extra pages and wrap it
Yes.
up.
I agree.
Like I would have read it, but like I'm like I don't really care if we're gonna keep facing Cronin. I
No,
don't.
I don't really either. I think book one, very fun. I think the
Great.
second one, great. I would have liked to have a little bit of supervision. But I still really liked the reveal at the end that Grimm was married to her. That rocked.
Amazing reveal.
That was so cool. And then I
I
think she
picked up the
loses
third
him.
book so quickly because of that. That was like there's so many strong parts of this series, but then there's so many parts that I do really think fall flat,
You know what I
unfortunately.
always wonder in my little revisionist history brain of this book? Because I've been trying to map how the first book was so strong. And the first time you texted me, you were like, I truly can't tell. Both of the love interests have so valid. And I think it's hard to do that balance. I think she did it great in the beginning. I've been trying to figure out how she could have continued keeping Oro on the same fucking level as Grimm.
Yeah, and like I think, I've gone back and forth with this too because I think like the first book did a great like love triangle because it was almost like Aura was the enemies to lover situation because Aura was
Mm-hmm.
so intimidating in the first book, and then you think Grimm would be an enemies to lover situation, but then you kind of realize Grimm actually has this like heart of gold towards Isla, and so it was
Yeah.
such an interesting dynamic that you weren't expecting from both of these characters that the Sun King is actually the one that's more dark, and then obviously the Night King is the one that's more light with everything.
Playful banter, yeah.
Yeah, but I also feel like this love triangle couldn't continue in the capacity it continued in when we found out she was married to Grimm. I thought it was a really interesting choice, like, and I get she was still grappling with like her memories, but at the end of the day it's like it's weird to watch someone be like, great, I'm married, but I'm still so horny for this other guy.
I mean, it is pretty hard unless you strike a cadence that is I think the only time where I was like, okay, we're kind of getting back on Oro's side is when he was a little bit pissed off and they're in the cave and he's like, hey, if you really care about that guy, why were you saying my name in your sleep so much? I need bitchy moments like that.
Yeah,
That is when we're like,
exactly.
I'm like, we're so back. You know what? Cut through it. Be so honest with her and shock her and take her back like that. And I think I
Yeah.
needed, like, he was just like best friend vibes. That one clip that I edited of me being like, does your boyfriend do your hair, Laura? One of my favorite clips of us.
Oh my God. No, or that's like also the thing where it's like, I think obviously, I think we all knew that like Grimm is like main pick by Alex Astor, which is totally fine.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it almost felt like Oro didn't have anywhere else to go other than still be obsessed with Isla. And I'm like, please give him one other thing. Give him something else.
Yeah, make him pick
I
up
beg of
pickleball
you.
or something.
Yeah, give him a football. I don't know. Maybe he could coach a little league team.
Coach a little league team, you
Yeah.
know, maybe give him a job in corporate America. That's not a hobby, actually. No, I
Yeah,
don't
maybe
want to
I don't
condemn him.
know. Maybe
That's a
he could put
definitely
a new
side job.
tax on the people of Lightlark and they could all protest or something. I don't know. But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
it
can do
felt
the
weird that
Boston Tea
like
Party.
I like and like also I think that like I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around like Oro's intentions because it's like what did you expect when you found out she was married? Like what did you expect? Because she
See,
also never said like I'm considering ending this or getting a divorce or I'm not really into the whole marriage thing.
yeah. No, I think that maybe they're conspiring to kill Grimm, and then she realizes she loves him, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" And then Oro's like, "Do it." No,
Yeah,
Oro kicks down the door, and he's like, "Open your relationship up for me."
yeah, or this only I think this could have worked if she was just engaged to Grimm because that way she still has the out. But like the fact that their lives are bound together and they're married, it's like, Oro, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, at that point, if that happened to me personally, and I was Oro, I would be like, "Well, shit. If she really wants this, I'm not gonna chase." Because
Yeah,
I am so much like a, if someone breaks up with me, you're never gonna fucking hear from me again unless you
exactly.
really want to hear from me again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that he should have just left it and become evil. I really think he should have become
I think
evil.
that would have been so like it would have been such a cool return to Oro is exactly the person we thought he was in the first book.
Yes.
Because he's so simpy now.
I know. And he's like too stoic and he hasn't opened his heart up forever. And when he finally does, he gets it broken. I would feel
Yeah.
vindicated. I would be like, fuck that. I'm
And like the
vindicated.
thing is like Oro's also like not fun. Like he's actually so boring.
I know. I never saw what he sees. I love the, oh my god, the scene when like even when she's having a sex dream about him, it's they're still not fucking. I
They're
was
like two
like
Barbie dolls together, honestly. Cuz like
Robin.
that's it. Like they don't actually ever do anything other than just like their bodies touch. That's it.
That's, oh my god, Laura, that is such a
And
funny
it's
analysis.
such a good analogy. Thank you. I just came up with it. But
I'm
yeah.
What do you think that the Nightshade ruler, which apparently, obviously, historically, all men, never been a Nightshade female ruler.
Yeah.
Similarly, the Lightlark, all men, never been a Lightlark male ruler. What do you think they don't see in Starling or Skyling or Moonling Isle? What don't they see in these women?
I don't
What makes
well,
them goo goo gaga about
to be
wildlings?
fair, we do know that there could have been a female Nightshade ruler because we know in Nightshade rules, the ruler has as many children as possible and they fight to the death. And
Oh,
it
that's
was
true.
almost Grimm's sister. So
Okay, so the
it
only
just that just
misogynistic
boils down
kingdom
to
is
whoever
Lightlark.
got the best genetics at that point, because Grimm clearly had the most power just by happenstance.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe there's a trans Nightshade ruler in there someplace too.
Yeah,
You're right.
I
I
like to
didn't
think
mean
there's a
to
little
be
they
gender
them, little they them
non-inclusive.
Nightshade ruler. But
Yeah.
also I think the thing with like and like I'm glad that we have a lot of backstory on like some of these realms so we can talk about things like that for Nightshade. We don't have enough backstory on Lightlark to like consider why, other than just like there was Horus and then there was his brother and then there was Oro, and that's really it. Like,
I just don't get what they don't see in Moonlight. I mean, I guess starlings are gonna die at 25. Maybe you're like, that's my baby, that's my little child. Moonlings, I feel like moonlings are kind of hot. Like Cleo, to me, I'm like, she's pissed
yo.
off and she's got silver hair.
Yeah, Cleo's got to be a Tilda Swinton type in my eyes.
Yeah.
She's so fucking cool. And it's like, and that's also the thing that makes me sad. It's like, why aren't we bringing like Cleo more into this? Her character is actually so interesting. The fact that she's so rigid, but does have these moments of that she is going to help people to advance her own people. That's
Yeah,
really fucking cool.
I know. We just absolutely dropped her. We said no, not like
We said
that.
no. We said no. Cleo's back on her ship. She is tending to the starboard.
She's back on her show. We're gonna write the spinoff for Cleo.
Cleo and her ships.
I like that she somehow got her son, even though we're not
Okay.
sure.
We did not talk a lot about that because, like, we were wrapping up the episode, obviously. Did it make sense how Isla was able to get the dead people out of bring them back to life?
I was wondering if it was because she killed Lark, and so she had Lark's abilities to Lazarus raise people from
But
the
like,
dead.
did she need to raise their bodies from the dead? Like,
I don't know, because was it
I don't.
amplified by having Cronin's crown? How'd she get them through the pond?
I don't know. And also, like, did she have to like find them in some sort of like spirit void, like in Hercules, where everybody's like swimming around in that tank like they're a little sperm?
Yeah.
But
Or like
that wasn't
Scooby-Doo.
explained. Like, I was so confused when they were like, and Cleo pulled her son out of the pool. And also,
And
we
you're
don't know
never
how
gonna
old
hear from her
Cleo's son
again.
is. So it was also extra confusing. I'm like, is he 20 or is he 5? Like,
Yeah, because that also matters about the way of travel. Because if it was a small kid, he's probably just popping right out of there. But if he's a
yeah.
20-year-old, did all of him make it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah. So that goes back to our earlier point of just some things weren't explained enough for me personally, that I'm just like, I don't really get why or how that happened. But
I know. I feel like overall, I would say this was a fine read. I think it was
yeah,
fine.
I mean, that's the thing. I had fun. I really enjoyed it. I read these books very quickly, so I can't do that. This is also the first book series we've read that transitions out of YA and goes fully into just like it's an adult novel now, which I thought was also really interesting and kind of nice that Alex Astor was aware of where she was going with these characters, so she did transition out rather than force herself in.
It is
Um,
kind of nuts because yeah, she went full on adult. I wonder if there's a fine balance between that because I know that, not to bring it up again, A Court of Thorns and Roses started off as YA. She had a YA editor on it, but there is sex in the first book. And then
yeah,
she transitioned to a romance book genre editor,
yeah,
and the whole thing in the community is like the books didn't get as great because YA fucking rocks.
yeah.
But
YA is awesome. That's why we do
I
this podcast.
don't get how people get to get away with it. I'm not sure what the line is
Yeah,
there.
that's the thing. I mean, we don't know enough about the business side of things, I guess, to understand,
That's fair.
when things transition, when things don't, or the why behind it.
We'll get better about that.
If it's just the powers that be being like, you need to transition this to adult
Yeah,
now.
they're like,
But
we're getting complaints from parents about the fucking.
yeah,
You
and they're
need
like,
the
they go, hey, if there's gonna be fucking, we're taking the Y off the A. Let's
off the
just do
A.
that.
Yeah, we're just we read it.
That was stupid. I liked that joke.
Thank you.
Ugh.
I mean, truly, I can't think of.
I
I'm
like
sure I have actually a lot of thoughts on
That's the
this.
thing. I'm like, I feel like we are going to end this little episode and I'm going to be like, oh, wait, we didn't talk about this thing. But we've talked
It's
about a
hard.
lot.
It's hard in the moment to remember, but I mean, we could be like an Alex Astor book, and just we could talk for the
We could
next
just,
half hour about
in
anything
like
we
a month, we
want.
come back. We're like, we thought about more things that we needed to talk about.
Oh my god. Alex Astor, come on the podcast.
Yeah,
And
actually,
don't
Alex
listen to
Astor,
this
come on the
episode.
podcast.
Come on the
Like,
podcast. Don't
we
listen
would
to
love
this
to ask you
episode.
so many questions.
So many questions. So many questions. I just have
So
so
many
many
questions.
questions on her direction and like where she wanted to go with this, because it certainly was a direction.
I also like. I so picture Alex Astor had like 100 different outcomes that she would have went. She literally had her own pool of possibilities of like this is where the series could go. So I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm
why
sure.
didn't she here?
Because I do think compliment is that it is clearly there's so much happening in this that I think that when you're that creative, it's hard to edit it down. So I am sure she just had notebooks full of places it was going
Oh,
to go.
I bet the lore of like her writings and notes for this entire plot are just they run so deep.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm absolutely
yeah, it's a
positive.
very, very rich world. And again, it's a fun world. It's interesting. Um it's entertaining. Like I can't
Mhm.
reiterate that enough about this book series, despite my criticisms of it. Like again, I'm gonna be like, I do want to know if Grimm gets his memories back, because I really feel like that would be a satisfying ending. I do not
He
feel like
was
it'll be
really
satisfying.
putting up a fight this time around, falling back in love with her. He really
Yeah.
did not want to.
No, but he really said, "Let's have sex," and I never want to see you again.
That
Fuckboy
was
on the beach.
crazy.
That was
Oh my
actually
god.
crazy.
When they were having sex and he was like, I get it now. This is why I married you. Throwing that pussy in a circle. You're great at it. That's like literally what it was. He was like, this is the only thing you're good at. Now I understand
Like,
why I married you.
that also made it weird for Grimm's character too, that like after all of that, Grimm still didn't choose Isla. Like Grimm's whole thing is that he always chooses Isla. So I was like, this was an interesting choice, because we also know that Grimm hates Cronin. Why would he choose him?
I know. And he's like, I don't want to be tied to like anyone. I don't want to be controlled by anyone.
But it's
Okay,
like,
then
but you're
why are
being
you
controlled by
simping?
Cronin, and also your life is literally bound to this girl. Like, calm down.
I know. And she's been nothing but nice. And he's like, I just don't trust it. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Go get a therapist, dude.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. They have to have some in Skyshade.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well, how do you feel about this?
I feel good. I think I need to put to rest my feelings about Lightlark, and look towards the future of Yeah, We Read It 2026.
That is true, you guys. It's a new year. We
Woo,
released Crown Tide in the new year as
woo.
well. So we are starting off. We have a lot of fun things planned for this year. We're going to go back to some older series books because people commented that on Spotify that they want that. And
Yeah.
also, we have a really fun episode next week. Next
Yes.
week coming out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it's next week.
All right. Well, our next episode's going to be really fun.
I
Guys,
think it is next week.
we have a author on the podcast who
Woo.
just released a book that we had a good time covering. We
Yeah.
released Fake
Episode.
Skating.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
episodes were already released.
I'm really carrying this out a lot because I'm very excited.
You're doing great. You're
Lynn
doing a
Painter.
build up.
Yeah, Lynn Painter is going to come on, and
Yes.
she is so exciting. She is
I love
awesome.
her.
We got to talk a little bit after, and I was really trying to be her friend and maybe get her phone number. I was delusional. I really thought that she would
Yeah,
love
like yeah, Lynn was
to
like,
be
yeah,
my
I'm
friend.
going to New York sometimes. But he's like, let me know when you're in New York.
You know, I'll show you restaurants. And then yeah,
I loved Lynn. Lynn's amazing. I also want to be
she
friends
was
with her.
awesome. She was just such a great sport. I think also
But
she
I feel
kept
like
complimenting
every
us, and I
author
was
we
like, you got to stop doing that. It's going to go to my head.
I do feel like every author we come on, we're like, we want to be friends with them. They're great. We love them.
Yeah, they need to get dinner with me when they're in New York. And I know that they
Yeah.
come to New York, so just do
Well,
it.
they're also not allowed to be in New York unless I'm in New York, because I also want to get dinner with them.
That's true. Laura's
That's a
sometimes
rule.
in New York, and we can all get dinner with these authors.
Let's do a mass text to the authors of numbers who we don't have to let them know next time we're all going to be in New York together.
Yeah, we just reach out to their agent again, and we're like, hey, it doesn't matter if they have a new book coming up. We'll cover it. That's fine. But can we get dinner with them?
Yeah. We won't pay for the dinner, though. We're not that rich.
We won't pay. You guys don't even know how to know what I make in New York. It is abysmal.
That's so funny. Well,
Yeah.
we're doing it. We're doing the things. And
We're doing the things in
excited.
2025. And
2026.
maybe 2026. Shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get money from the podcast, and then we can afford dinner.
Yeah. If somebody wants to give us money so we can pay to take authors out to dinner, that and ourselves by association.
That would be awesome. And it doesn't
That'd
even
be
have to be a
awesome.
lot. Just for me, enough to afford Subway. It's my
Yeah,
favorite place in
yeah.
the world.
Or enough to afford the $1 garlic knots at Bardo in New York
Oh my
City.
god, I've brought so many people. They're so
It's so good. Their happy hour is amazing.
So that's That, and the more we talk, the hungrier I get. Actually, I'm gonna be so honest. I'm kind
He's
of
gonna go get a snack after this.
crazy hungry right now. Um, is there anything personal that you want to plug of yourself, Laura?
Personal? I don't think I have anything right now. I gotta keep my cards close to my chest. My cards will start to unravel as the year goes on.
Okay.
Any secrets you want to tell us, Maggie?
Laura's working on secrets in the new year. Nothing
I'm working on being
really.
more private in the new year.
I'm actually working on talking more in the new year.
No, I need to work on that too. I was telling a coworker that I'm like, I need to talk to people more at this company.
I think if I just brave going to a public gym once this year, that's the goal. So I think my, aim
Attainable.
low, reach high.
We'll check in on the status of you going to that public gym, Maggie. I think you can do it.
I think I can. And if you guys want to share any secrets, as always, please email them to Meggie and Laura present at gmail.com. We're really good at keeping secrets. I would say Laura's better than Meggie is.
On the record,
On the record.
let us know which secrets are for me and which secrets are for Maggie. We'll probably tell them each other the secrets. But
That's true, but I
that'll
promise I'll
stay
keep
between
them
us.
for you guys. I'll keep them.
Yeah. What a wrap up of this episode. We'll be with Lynn Painter next week, and then we have a really fun one-off scheduled for that the week after that, I'm pretty sure. And then we have other things planned. So
it's gonna
very
be
exciting.
the best.
It's going to be the best. We're so excited. Thank you for listening as always, and give us attention on media. That's how the podcast can continue to grow.
Please. Okay.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.